take this one. This has got some schmutz on it that I can't get out.
Some schmutz. Here as well with smoked meats, chocolate, and mischief. Okay, alright.
Hey, it's Sue.
And Megan in the restricted section.
And today we're going to do the Finally Fall book tag.
And we were tagged by Camille from The Chameleon.
And the original tag was by Alina from Tall Tales.
Yes, and I'm very excited that it's finally fucking fall.
Ooh. I was never like super excited about fall before, but this year I'm really feeling it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
God, I woke up this morning and all my windows were open, so like it smelled like fall in my house, and it was like kind of crisp. And I looked out my lawn and there's like leaves on my lawn.
Yeah. It's starting to look like fall here.
Oh, I'm ready for it.
It hasn't been that cool yet though. It's kind of cool today, but
yeah,
it's like 80 outside, I think.
I feel like it's like a reasonable temperature outside today. It's not like...
Yeah, last weekend it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it was fucking miserable.
Yeah. And we're going to drink this Sasquatch Imperial Chocolate Milk Stout. I got this, I was recently in Dallas for my friend's wedding. Congratulations.
Congratulations,
Megan, if you're
Megan.
watching this. And I picked up a couple of Texas beers. This is from 903 Brewers.
Yes.
I guess. 903 in Sherman, Texas. Which is really close to Dallas.
Well, let's try it out. Let's give it a go.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh, that's smoky itself.
Yeah, it is kind of smoky. Usually I don't like smoked beers, but it's not
either.
too much. I think it's pretty good.
That is quite good.
It says brewed with chocolate malt and a heavy dose of roasted cocoa nibs. Our stout has a chocolate finish and rich aroma. The addition of milk sugar lends a creamy body. One taste and you'll see why Sasquatch is such a beast.
I like it beastie.
Yeah, I definitely just picked this because it was Sasquatch.
Sandwich.
And I have an unhealthy obsession with Sasquatch. But let's get into this tag.
Let's fucking do it. Alright, so the first question is, in fall, the air is so crisp and clear, name a book with a vivid setting.
And I chose In the Shadow of the Banyan by Vadi Ratner. It's set in Cambodia during the genocide that happened there, oh dear, it was in the 70s, I believe.
Eesh.
And it's really beautifully written. I think it is kind of like flowery, so maybe not everyone would enjoy that, but I just think her descriptions of the landscape and everything are very vivid, and I could picture Cambodia really well. And I thought it was a really good book. I liked it a lot.
Yes. And I said Blackout by Connie Willis. This is a book about time travel, and these time traveling historians get stuck in World War II times. And I feel like the author like really did her research on that historical period. I feel like she put a lot of effort into like making sure all the details were accurate and like knowing the events that took place on what date. And so it was really immersive, and I really enjoyed it.
The next question. Nature is beautiful, but also dying.
Oh, that's blue.
Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief.
I chose Beloved by Toni Morrison because I did think that this was super beautiful and like sometimes kind of cryptic, but like always really beautifully written. But damn, it's dark.
Oh yes.
So far dark.
Yeah.
So I really loved it though.
And I chose All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This is another one where the writing is kind of flowery, but again, I really liked it. I thought it was beautifully written, set during World War II, so of course it's also pretty dark. It follows both a girl who she's blind and just kind of trying to survive I think she lived in France, and then also follows a young boy who gets kind of recruited by the Nazis and becomes a Nazi, and sort of how they are they're connected in a strange way, and I don't know, I thought it was really beautiful, and I thought it was interesting to see that side of, like, the boy, like, he wasn't evil by any means, he just kind of, like, ended up in this, you know, situation where he didn't really know for a long time that what he was doing was wrong, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't really understand what was happening. But I thought it was beautifully written, and I really liked it.
Fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new.
I just recently listened to the book The Brain Electric, the dramatic high-tech race to merge minds with machines, I think is the full title. Yeah, To Merge Minds and Machines by Malcolm Gay. And I thought that was really interesting, and I definitely learned a lot that I did not know before, and it's about like prosthetic limbs and things like that that could be controlled by, you know, the person's brain to help people who have lost limbs or have, like he talked about it with people who have, ALS. And like people who have seizures and things like that could also benefit from this. So I thought it was really interesting. He also kind of talked about an aspect that I never really thought of, and that's that there's not a huge market for it, and that's partially why it hasn't been developed yet. Like, we probably could have already had this technology, but nobody wants to put the money into it because like people who lose limbs more often lose legs. And we already have great, like, prosthetic legs that, you know, work pretty well, and so there's not, like, a huge market for prosthetic arms. And there's not, like, a huge number of people who have ALS and things like that, you know, so...
That makes sense.
So there's just not really a market for it, so people don't want to give people money to develop this technology, so...
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway. I rambled on too long about that book.
I said Smoke Gets in Your Eyes by Caitlin Doughty. I really love this book. It's about her experiences working in a crematory, and it talks about, like, the death industry, and I learned a lot about the death industry and what happens to us after we die and all that good stuff. So I really enjoyed it. I think she's really cool. Sue and I actually went to a book signing and met her, and so she signed my copy, which is super awesome.
Yeah, she was really nice.
She was so cool.
Funny.
Yeah, she was smart and funny.
I think there's like they're taking pre-orders for her next book, so I might pre-order it.
I probably will. Yeah,
because I really like her.
I do too.
Next question. In order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, or friend group that you'd like to be a part of.
I said the crew of the Wayfarer from the book The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, and no one was surprised. It's just such a diverse group of people, and beings. It's like people. No. Yeah. Not all people.
Not all humans.
Not all humans. Yeah, just a really diverse group. And they all really care about each other for the most part. And they look out for each other. And I just think it would be really cool and interesting and, like, fun to hang out with all of them. So.
And I said the crew from The Hobbit. Because, kind of similar reasons, like, they're maybe not super diverse, because most of them are dwarves.
Right.
But, you know, they accepted Bilbo and sort of all became like a little family there and looked out for each other, and I thought it was really nice.
Very sweet.
I wanted to go on an adventure with them too.
Yes. Alright, and the next question is, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines.
So we made a stack here. We have, in the shadow of the banyan,
Frankenstein.
I can't see him. You read it.
The Handmaid's Tale, The Martian, Planetfall, Herland, Dubliners, and Authority. Fall colored spines.
Orange and red and yellow.
Ooh, fall
one
colors.
brown.
And brownish.
Not a lot of brown books.
Yeah, brown's kind of boring.
Which is why I dye my hair weird colors.
There, samesies.
Next question is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story.
I have The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood, because in this book there are two lovers, and the man is telling the woman a story. So this book is like not only the story of the two lovers, but it's also the story that he is telling her. And so it's kind of a story within a story, a little bit.
And I said Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, because this book is actually, it's like a guy who's a captain of a ship reiterating the story that Dr. Frankenstein told him about what happened. And he comes across Dr. Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster while he's out at sea and in the ice and stuff. And so he hears the story, and then like also hears the monster story, I think. Yeah, so it's story within a story.
Story within a story. Next is The Nights Are Getting Darker. Share a dark, creepy read.
I chose a book that we've just recently read, which is We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is like subtly creepy.
It is.
Like,
it's nice.
It's not like gonna keep you up at night probably or anything, but it's just got that like really subtle creepiness where you're kind of not 100% sure what's going on, and it's just,
It's a slow burn.
yeah, it's kind of like, what the fuck's up with this family?
Why y'all so creepy?
Like, what's going on here?
What are you
And I
doing?
also thought the ending also like added to the creepiness, like how, I don't want to like spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, but like how them in their house ended up was like
kind of
creepy and cool.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. I said Bird Box by Josh Malerman, because, yeah, that one was just, it was pretty creepy, and I didn't really realize until after I'd finished it how creepy it was, because then, like, I read it in a day, and I woke up the next morning, and I didn't want to look out my windows. I was like, don't look outside. Oh, wait, that was just a book. Don't look outside. Like, it creeped me out. But what if it wasn't? Don't look outside. So, yeah, there was one scene in particular, I'm not going to give any details about it, but there was one scene in particular that I was like, wow, this is real fucked up. This is real creepy. But yeah, and just like in the book, they have to keep their eyes closed at all times because, you know, of what's going on, and people who open their eyes die. And so, yeah, just to think about that, like, and they do a lot of stuff with their eyes closed. Like, this lady goes on this journey with her eyes are closed the whole fucking time. Like, that's crazy to me. So yeah, it was just really,
that would be like, yeah, like I don't think I could not unintentionally open my eyes.
I got to know what's going on. Yeah, it was really creepy.
The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day.
I said The Keeper of Lost Things by Ruth Hogan. It's not like super, super short. It's 288 pages, but it was a really fast read. And it was about this man who collected lost things, and he cataloged them, and his goal was to get them back to their owners someday. And so he passes away, and the job kind of falls to his housekeeper to continue. But yeah, it was just a fun, heartwarming read.
And I said Stardust by Neil Gaiman, although if I'm being honest, I would recommend just watching the movie because it's better than the book, in my opinion. But the book was pretty fun and cute too. It's kind of, you know, it's very whimsical, like fairy tale like, and heartwarming, nice happy ending. And it was a fairly short book, if I recall. So yeah, Stardust.
Fall. Luckily, It's My Favorite Season returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon.
I said the book Walk Two Moons by Sharon Creech. This is a book I had when I was a kid, and I honestly don't remember that much about it. I'm pretty sure that I actually read it more than once, though, and I remember really liking it as a kid. And I'd like to revisit it and try, remember what it was about and why I liked
Why you really liked it.
I know it had something to do with like Native American culture and stuff like that, but I don't really remember anything else about it. So I'd like to revisit it sometime.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that I know that I owned the book as a kid, but I think maybe I got rid of it. Like my mom was like, "Do you want these books?" And I was like, "Nah." And now I'm like, I kind of wish I'd kept that one. But, oh well.
And I said The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, because I've been wanting to reread this, and I just really love this book. I've read the book before, I watched the show also, and I really want to reread it.
I think I'm gonna really try my hardest to read that this month.
You definitely
Because I'm like,
should.
I feel like it'd be a scary read for
It is.
October.
Yes, it is. And then you should come over and watch the show, because it's also scary.
All right. Question number 10. Fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories.
I would say probably my dogs, because they're very cozy.
Yes.
And a nice blanket, and a hot cup of tea, or a nice mug of beer, and that's really all I need.
Yeah. I would say pretty much the same. My dog, who likes to sleep right pressed up beside me.
Yes.
And my cat, who likes to sleep on top
you?
of me. And she's very fat and warm and cozy and soft.
And sleepy.
And a blanket, just probably some like fuzzy socks or my slippers. I have to wear booties instead of regular slippers because when you're tall, not all of your pants reach your feet. So I get the booties to cover my ankles from all my high water pajama pants.
That's fair, because PJ pants shrink real bad.
Yeah, and like I have to buy men's pants most of the time, and even those sometimes are too short. But yeah, and a mug of, I would say tea or hot chocolate probably. Maybe a nice like stout beer, something like this.
Nice pumpkin beer.
Yeah, or pumpkin beer. So yeah.
Yeah. So last question is spread the autumn appreciation and tag some people.
So we're gonna tag T-Hags.
Yes. We're also going to tag Mindy from Mindy's Book Journey. And lastly, we are going to tag not just romance novels.
Yes, so we tag you 4 ladies.
Yes.
3 channels.
3 channels,
ladies.
4 ladies. Let's see you do this finally fall tag.
Yeah.
And let us know how you feel about fall. Is it your favorite season? Do you not like it?
Yeah, does anyone not like fall? I'm curious. I used to not love it so much, but just because like with fall means winter's coming and I fucking hate winter. But now that I work from home, I don't hate winter as much. Also, our winters are much more mild than they used to be here.
Global warming. Yeah.
So
No,
I
love
like fall a lot more now than I used to.
Fall has always been my favorite. I love it.
I always liked spring because everything was coming back to life from the dead of horrible winter.
Yes. Having dogs has kind of changed my outlook on spring because spring means mud and dogs plus mud equals fucking muddy house.
Yeah.
So
what do you think of this beer?
I like it. I
Yeah.
don't usually like the whole smoky thing, but I like it in this beer.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't really say that it's smoky, but it definitely tastes smoky.
It
But it's
does.
kind of nice because it kind of reminds me of like a campfire or something.
yeah, it
so
kinda
it's like
does.
I feel like it's a good fall beer.
It is.
Which I don't think it's a seasonal beer or anything like that. It
So,
doesn't
like,
say it is, but
Look at this crazy looking like Sam Squanch on the
yeah,
front of this.
it's pretty cute.
He's pretty cute.
I always wanted a Sasquatch tattoo, and if I got one, it would be something like that.
Really?
Where he was like adorable.
That's pretty cute. That's pretty precious.
Yeah. So yeah, if you live in Texas,
Try some of this beer.
so there'll be links below where you can find us other places on the internet.
And if you're not already subscribed to the restricted section, you should do it.
Yep, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.